Welcome back. In this video, we will be discussing the symbols of the elements and which elements you will need to know this semester. To begin with, the elemental symbol is a 1 or 2 letter abbreviation that is unique to each element. The first, or only letter, must be capitalized, while the second letter will always be lowercase. Generally, when you write the symbol, you will see that above the symbol on our periodic table is the atomic number. Recall from our previous videos that this number is the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom, and this is how we identify and list out all of our elements. This means that carbon, abbreviated with a capital C, will always have an atomic number of 6, and any atom with exactly 6 protons in a nucleus must be carbon. Note that these atomic numbers are always whole numbers, and remember that our elements are listed an increasing atomic number on the periodic table. Generally, below the atomic number and element symbol is another number, the atomic mass. Now, this is the average mass of an element, and it is usually not a whole number. While the atomic mass usually increases along with the atomic number, there are actually 3 elements on the periodic table that are just a little bit lighter than the element next to them with a smaller atomic number. You should try and find them. Now, the rest of our video is actually going to be covering all of the elements that you need throughout the semester. You will be expected to know the symbols for all of the elements in this video, and you should be able to quickly find them on the periodic table. This will allow you to efficiently look up things like their atomic numbers and atomic masses. You should be aware that while many of the elemental symbols are pretty straightforward, like carbon's, a few are not so obvious. Now, the first set of elements that we're going to go through come from our first 2 groups, 1A and 2A, the alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. Group 1A is going to start with hydrogen, given as an H. This is followed by the metals lithium, Li, and sodium, Na. Now, sodium has the symbol Na because it comes from the Latin word natrium. Now, this word actually translates into English as salt or soda, which is where we get our name for the element. Next up is potassium, which actually has the symbol K. Again, this is coming from Latin as an abbreviation of the word kalium, which describes those same ashes that in English we call potash. The next 2 alkali metals are rubidium, Rb, and cesium, Cs. We'll continue on with group 2A. Now, fortunately, the alkaline earth metals don't have any unusual symbols. We'll start off with beryllium, Be, and follow that up with magnesium, Mg. This is followed by calcium, Ca, strontium, given as Sr, and finally barium, Ba. We'll skip over to group 3A. You only need to know 2 of these elements, starting off with boron, given as a B, and then aluminum, Al. Continuing into group 4A, the first 2 elements are carbon and then silicon. Silicon is given as Si. Skipping over, we have the bottom 2 here as tin, which has the symbol Sn. This comes from its Latin name stannum, and we'll follow that up with lead, given the symbol Pb. You'll recognize its Latin name plumbum because many of the Romans built their pipes out of lead, and this is where we get our own name for pipes, plumbing. Moving on to group 5A, we start with nitrogen. Then phosphorus. Those are simply N and P. Now make sure not to confuse the P for phosphorus with potassium. Remember, potassium has the symbol K. Our next pnictogen is arsenic, given with the symbol As. This is followed by antimony with the symbol Sb. Why is this Sb? Well, again, we could look back at the Latin. Their Latin name for this element was stibium, and this is actually what they called the eye paint that Egyptians made from an ore of antimony that we commonly called coal in the modern English. We'll actually finish this group off with bismuth, symbol Bi. Moving on, we have group 6A, which includes oxygen, O, and sulfur, S. Make sure you don't confuse sulfur with sodium. Remember, sodium is Na. Next up, we have selenium, Se, followed by tellurium, Te, and finally polonium, Po. Group 7A, our halogens, include fluorine, F, chlorine, Cl, bromine, Br, and iodine, I. Finally, we come to our noble gases in group 8A, starting off with helium, He, and then neon, Ne. Argon comes next, Ar. Don't confuse that with arsenic, As. And then krypton, Kr, and xenon, Xe. Please note that element 36 is not called kryptonite, and this has absolutely no effect on Superman. Well, what about the rest of our periodic table? You are expected to know the first row or period of the transition metals. This starts with scandium, Sc, then titanium, Ti, and vanadium, V. Next is chromium, Cr, and manganese, Mn. It's very easy to confuse manganese with magnesium. So Mn is manganese, a transition metal, and Mg is magnesium, which is an alkaline earth metal. Watch out for this one. Next up is iron, which has the symbol Fe. Remember that it has a Latin name, ferrum, and this is where we get that symbol. Following up iron is cobalt, Co, nickel, Ni, and copper with the symbol Cu. Now the symbol for copper again comes from Latin. In this case its name was cuprum. The row is finished off with zinc, given Zn. Now there are 4 more elements that I expect you to know from the periodic table that have unusual symbols. Silver has the symbol Ag from its Latin name argentum. And below that, Au is the elemental symbol for gold from aurum. Moving one over, we have mercury, which has the symbol Hg. And this comes from its Latin name, hydrogyrum, or water silver, because of its unique property of being a silvery metal that's a liquid at room temperature. Finally, one more. Right here is the element tungsten, which is given the symbol W from its original name, wolfram.